Hi, this is Doug the Bass Man. I'm going to make a short video today on a few other little things that's been catching me some fish. So here's what we're going to talk about. Frogs. I've had a lot of luck with this particular frog. I don't know if it's the size, the color, but this frog has caught me 3 times as many bass as any of my others. Secondly would be the green. Now what I do is cut about a 1/2 inch of the leg off when I buy it. They were a bit longer than this, but I cut them off, and that way when they're grabbing they don't just go for the legs and I miss the fish. They have to get the body. What I have this on here is a power clip. I talked about them in an earlier video, and I just absolutely love them. I think that it's a very useful tool, and it's super strong, and it's easy as can be to change lures from lure to lure to lure. So frogs are working very well for me. And then I have whopper ploppers. Now whopper ploppers are this right here. Bought it at Jay's. It looks like it's $13. I like the fish color ones. This is like perch, rather a large one. This is a large one. They do make them smaller. And what happens is, as it's coming through the water, the tail will catch the water and make that plop, 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 plop sound. It's incredible how much noise this thing makes, but it really draws a lot of fish. So this has been working quite well for me as well. Early mornings right along the lilies, you know, it just pulls the fish out very well. And we're going to talk a little bit about tube fishing. I don't do a whole lot of tube fishing, but every now and again it seems to work, so I'll do a little tube fishing. So if I do tube fish, I like to buy a weedless jig head. Now if you can tell, this hook, I've bent it, because this is what they typically come like when you buy them. And the reason I bend it is for a better hookup ratio. So the way I rig it is simply right down the center. I think just like everybody else does, pop it out way low so that it has tension on it, and there it is. Well, a little too far actually. Let me adjust that. There we go. Perfect. So now I'm weedless, and the hook is slightly pointing up. Gives me a whole lot better hookup ratio than when it's pointing down. So that is something that I do with that. If I don't want to have a weighted jig head, I've been buying these Eagle Claw hooks. Okay, and they are just crazy bent. Just all kinds of weird bends to it. Now when I rig this, I'll go down the center, out the side, kind of like that, whip it around, find out about where the eye of the hook is, and then poke through completely. Now I'm actually, if you look at it this direction, it's completely weedless, okay? And because it's got the bends, when you give it a pull, it twists and makes it hit the side of the fish's mouth. I get great hookup ratio with this. So that is a tube trick that I do. Another thing, people said everybody's using wacky, and I do it occasionally, but I kind of do it a little bit different than most. I see it all the time on YouTube where people get their tool and they snap their worm on, and it's in the center and it's weighted well, and then they grab their hook, and let me grab my hook, and they put it under the band and they're ready to fish. Now this works because I've seen it work and I've used it and it's worked, but we're talking about hookup ratio, and I think to get a better hookup ratio, because the worm is this direction and so is the hook. If you look, the hook and the worm are the same direction. And watch this too. This is something interesting that I've always thought, why would anybody use this rubber band, you know. But when you pull it, see how it moves off the worm? So if the fish grabs this side, you could lose your bait. So to lock it on and to make up a better hook ratio, go through the worm, through the center, through the band, and out the other side. Now, the hook is locked in by the band and by the worm. And if you got a weedless hook, I should put my glasses on. But if you've got a weedless hook, oh my gosh, I can't get it to hook. There we go. If you got a weedless hook and you got it rigged this way, that is super effective, even in the thickest of cover. So keep that in mind as well. But those are things that are working well for me. I hope that you've learned something, and if you liked the video, please subscribe. And to everybody out there, tight lines.